Hey everybody, this is Rydo, and today we're starting The Walking Dead, the final season. This is a 2018 game that the first episodes of were made by Telltale, and then the last two episodes were finished by Skybound because Telltale Games, as it originally existed, went out of business. Mostly because they had been through a pretty much decade plus long span, doubling down on games like The Walking Dead without really adding anything new to the formula or genre. It definitely created its own genre, but only for Telltale games, and they had to license every single game they made. So there were Batman games and Walking Dead games and a few others. Uh, was it Game of Thrones games? But every time they would double down on that, they were actually losing more money than they were gaining, uh, pretty much. We're also in a weird point here where I think I'm going to have the exact same experience that most people are going to have with this game, in that even though I have played all of these games on my PC, um, and the first season would have been a second time because I would play it on the 360 first, there's no data, seemingly, of my choices in uh, any of the previous. Like, I don't. I've built a new computer, and so I don't know where those save files would have been if they even exist. It's also been incredibly long, so I couldn't even really tell you. So we're just going to go into it fresh and having the experience that I think anyone would have uh, if they hadn't played any of the previous games. Yeah, I'm going to have to turn up the audio a little bit. Let's see. I am also testing my audio files and audio settings. So I'm I was getting a very nasty hum due to just like the gain being too high uh, on my Blue Yeti, and so that was a issue I was trying to address, because it was getting really annoying that every time there was a quiet point, I'd hear this really noisy hum. So yeah, save files. Um, they're gone as far as I can tell, and they're never coming back. Not realistically. Uh, you can look at the button controls here and see how limited the inputs are. What I would have really liked to see over the history of Telltale is I'm not really particularly perturbed that they did go out of business. I would have liked to see them try some different things for different types of game and just stick to the Walking Dead style of gameplay for The Walking Dead. But I also would have liked to see them expand on this. You have like two triggers, a left trigger and a left bump not being used. You have the back button not being used. Normally, nowadays, there'd be a share button, and certainly a share feature on this game would have been useful. None of the D-pads are being used, and the dialogue choices are being mapped to face buttons, which is really unnecessary. Like, I don't want to see them completely change everything here, but I would like to see many things improved upon. Let's adjust everything here as high as possible. One of the things the Telltale games did that I think is a little weird is in the Batman games, not this one, but in the Batman games there was a DLC uh, that turned it into a black and white, more comic book uh, filter, like lens filter, video filter of the exact same game. So then theoretically, they're trying to convince you to pay for DLC, and they did convince me to pay for the DLC just so I owned it, uh, to play the same Telltale game twice. And yeah, I don't think I want this bokeh. A lens simulation rendering out of focus areas to highlight depth of field. I don't think I want that. Let's go ahead and apply those settings. Brightness wise, adjust the slider until the image is barely visible. Well, I definitely can't see it at all here. So I suppose I would want it there, but I kind of feel like I might want it here. This is one of those cases where you easily are going to, your mileage may vary based on your TV. And if you're watching this on YouTube via like a TV app, it tends to be really, really dark. Languages. How many languages are there? Ooh, decent amount. Gameplay. Icon style Xbox One or PlayStation. That's nice. But yeah, I signed in to the Telltale account. So I am signed in, and yet it did not pull any choice of save files, which makes me think that signing into the account nowadays literally doesn't do anything. Let's see. Yep. So that was the extras, and that was the settings. And then let's go ahead and just go through the entire history here of cross promotion. I guess we'll just go backwards. So you have Game of Thrones, which I played the first season of Game of Thrones on Telltale game. There's other Game of Thrones games, obviously, and that was fine, but they always kind of end on cliffhangers. I've yet to play Batman the Enemy Within or Batman the Telltale series, but I do own them. These are the ones that have the special DLC that reskins everything. It is also worth mentioning that the Telltale games are now being resold by the new Telltale, I believe, not Skybound games, and they are putting minimal remastering on them, which is a little premature considering this was a 2018 game for them to have immediately try to sell it again. But it also kind of makes sense because, I mean, what can they do? The new Telltale company needs to figure out how to make money off of whatever they can recoup from acquiring Telltale and try to fund the development of new Telltale games, because they have promised a Wolf Among Us 2. I've played a Wolf Among Us. I've played almost all the Telltale games in a funny way. I played Walking Dead Michonne. That was a standalone story that really didn't integrate into the main story. I played Walking Dead A New Frontier. I think, yes, this was the last one I played. These are kind of out of order in my book, because I think this came out before this game, and then season 2 is here, and we played that, of course, in season 1. And it's been quite a long journey, certainly from season 1 to season 2. Then A New Frontier is basically season 3, but you don't really do anything with, I don't even remember her name, it's been so long. But she is a character. She's a secondary character that's kind of untrusted throughout the series. And then in Michonne, she doesn't really show up at all. There are definitely Telltale games here that are not being mentioned, particularly the ones that don't play exactly like this, like the Walking Dead games. But I feel like there was some other games, one or two, that may have been made. I could be wrong about that. Okay, so first thing to check here is, do I have all of the episodes? Because I wouldn't be surprised if I somehow accidentally bought just the first 2 episodes, then Telltale went out of business and I was never allowed to own episode 3 or episode 4. But I guess they treated each of us, treated people pretty nicely there. So I do have the full game. It's weird. I kind of desperately need a previously on, and I'm hoping that happens at the beginning of this because I don't really remember what the story is much around this. I'm not 100% sure if the little kid on the left is the baby that the girl on the right, who has just been growing up throughout this whole story and was a little kid herself at the first season. I'm not sure if that's the same baby or if it's a different baby, because there were definitely different endings on some of the games where she would have handed the baby over to somebody else because she really was not qualified to survive alone. Yeah, I guess we should just jump into it. We're done running, which you kind of have to be, because it's kind of ridiculous for the story to continue down that same path.
When the dead started walking, I was small and alone.
This is a really different kind of animation.
Until a man named Lee became my protector.
I don't think Lee quite looked like that, but maybe these are her drawings. I suppose it's worth mentioning that the Telltale TV series is pretty much over, the original one, and the Telltale comic book is over.
Other people too, but he couldn't save everyone.
So that was like the first decision. So I guess what we'll have to do here is, first I'll adjust the audio if I can a little bit down. Okay. So we're just gonna have to make our own decisions here. Let's see. Carly was a pain in the butt because of her father being a pain in the butt, where Doug was a nice guy, and I kind of wish I had saved Doug, but I'm fairly certain I did save Carly. And in this case, it's not really giving you great prompts as to which one you're highlighting. You just have to be able to see the red blood stain in the background. So I think I saved Carly.
You can never save everyone.
And honestly,
we're just as dangerous as the dead.
I'm not sure.
A woman in our group named Lily lost her dad, and then she just couldn't cope.
Yeah.
She took the life that Lee saved.
Yeah, so pretty much that was the wrong girl I was thinking of anyways. But this is showing how your choices don't really matter much in the story at all. That they form a loosely unique narrative to your experience, but at the end of the day, you're going to end at the same spot no matter what. Mostly alone, mostly regretting your choices. I think we left Lily behind.
Lee left her on the side of the road. Lee taught me how to survive. He protected me as long as he could.
I feel like that choice
because of me.
in particular,
And even in the end, he was still teaching.
Was the I think particularly leaving her on the side of the road was about the point where I started to get into the survivalist mentality quite a bit, with these games, and it was just all about surviving. I don't remember what I said here. Keep your hair short, I think may have been the right answer. Could have been stay away from cities, but then she didn't really follow that instructions if that was the case. Always keep moving. It's either keep your hair short or always keep moving, and I don't remember, so I'm gonna go with always keep moving.
And always keep moving as much as you can. Move.
Lee wouldn't make it. He knew it was the end. He made one final request.
I told her not to shoot me when I was playing as Lee. And the funny point, this is kind of also where I think the story should have ended, because it was sort of downhill from this point.
He told me to leave him.
Because I wanted her to
And
save the bullets and not make noise and call more zombies to her.
I met another group after that. Broken people, running from their past. There was a woman who gave birth to a boy named Alvin Jr.
Yeah. So this is
AJ,
the second season.
He made it. But the mom didn't.
And this will
And I
probably
started
be
to take care of him.
harder for me to remember what my choices were here.
But
And
then,
I assume...
Jane left AJ in the snow. We thought he was gone forever. That was the last straw for Kenny. And without Lee around, I had to make the call.
This was the one where I specifically shot. I played it both ways. And at this point I knew that they were poorly writing the idea that they had left him in the snow, but it made it look like they had killed the AJ. Let's see. I think canonically, even though I played both of them, I shot Kenny first, and that was the decision I would want to. I assume if there was a save file at this point, they would not let me pick, and it would just be telling me what I did.
I stopped Kenny. Finally gave him peace. It turned out AJ was alive. Jane hid him to make a point.
Yeah, it was Jane that was also
Knowing what
kind of
they'd done.
manipulative there. She was kind of crazy. Yeah. And then I think canonically I did not stay with Jane. I don't remember anything about Jane at all. I went
I had
alone.
enough. I took AJ and left them behind.
So kind of
AJ
repeating
and I
the same
traveled to a new
story
frontier.
as the first
I
season.
thought we'd found something that worked, but I was wrong again.
This is where
They
they
took AJ from me. Said I was too young to take care of him.
like gave her a brand, and they joined this kind of new frontier gang that wasn't all about a gang, but it was still pretty not on the up and up. Let's see, what did I do? I think I would have fought for AJ. Because the doctor that's holding AJ there was refusing to use the medicine that they had on him because it said it was too late and it wouldn't work, and I stole the medicine and gave it to him anyway, and that's when they kicked me out of the group. So I think I fought for AJ. I think I did.
I fought back, but I wasn't strong enough. I searched for a long time. Just when I gave up hope, I found him. We're searching together now for a place we can call home.
You can see
I'm all AJ has.
at
He's all
this
I have,
depiction,
and
she's
I'll protect him with my life.
she seems to be
Just like
approaching
Did for me.
18, 19, even, maybe even older, where she was like 10 at the beginning of the game. There have definitely been some major jumps in in her age, though, in between each season. This game series adapts to the choices you make. The storyline is tailored to how you play. One of those is true. One is not so much. It doesn't change the gameplay style based on how you play, because if you're doing worse, you don't do better. This is funny. I kind of feel like this scene looks a lot like a scene I've already played, where, because there's a point where her finger got caught in the door and she was missing a finger, and they didn't ask about that. But yeah, use left stick to adjust the mirror. I'm gonna turn down the audio some more. It's not how I like the audio, for sure. I don't like it super loud. And now there's a lot of adjustment that clearly needs to happen. Alright. I think that might be it. Sorry for having to fiddle with all this. So you use the left stick to wait. Nothing's happening. Okay. So we can see AJ is playing with a revolver.
What you doing there, goofball?
And she's driving.
Pretending we got bullets.
It's kind of surprising that
It's getting on my nerves.
it's surprising cars would still work, because gasoline pretty much goes bad after a year.
I don't like goofball. Too
Okay.
big for it.
So you could sit here.
Huh, so I guess you're all grown up now.
Yep. Let me drive.
I'm not letting you drive.
Like, okay, so we're not having to kind of establish a new
AJ?
connection here,
Hungry.
because AJ's just been basically a child or a baby in the previous examples. So we can give magazine, we can give toy. This is weird because this feels like this would be more of a prompt more than anything else.
Here, practice your reading.
We don't have food is the main thing to take from
I
that.
don't wanna.
It'll take your mind off your stomach.
Reading.
Heat. Oven. Place cream. Vanilla beans into a saucepan
Yep.
and bring to a boil.
On second thought, never mind. That's only gonna make you hungrier.
Oh,
Here you go. About all we got.
so now I can give a snack.
What about you?
Go for it. We'll find something else soon.
I feel like
I
the
believe
graphics look way better now than they did even by the first season, but that kind of stands in the way of the artistic style too, because the artistic style almost certainly was originally designed to be kind of lazy and not that good in graphics. I suppose it is also worth mentioning that even though this is a 2018 game, it literally would crash on boot up on Windows 10. I had to run a compatibility troubleshooter on it and have it run in Windows 8 compatibility mode. And that just seems fairly ridiculous that your
We gonna do
program can't even last. Well, I'm playing this
So-
in 2021, so you're talking 3
What's
years.
here?
And
We're doing it.
I feel like, yeah, the entirety of the Telltale games were fairly badly designed and glitchy. I really wish this was more of a case of, well, let's go with the crowbar. uh, more of a, which this was more of a case of a traditional
Need
point and
water,
click
too.
adventure game instead of it being kind of this odd. You can move the mouse cursor around in some points. Interesting. We picked up the toy and then we put it back down. It's also weird that she handed the knife blade first.
All right. Let's find some food.
Alright, friendly ring bell. No trespassing.
Friendly, ring the bell.
What does it mean?
It means the people here shoot first.
When you see a circle, consider the consequences of your actions. I don't know what that... A red circle means. Okay, so we're now getting an indicator that your decisions are going to be better off. This looks a lot like the train from the first episode. At the end of the day, you've got to teach this kid to trust people, because he's not just going to be able to survive on his own, even though that's what this group has been doing. It's also kind of weird, though, that you'd have them ring the bell
What are you doing?
if you're friendly. That, because it feels like zombies specifically would accidentally bump into a bell anyways. It would make a lot of sense to knock down that sign. Use right stick to look around. This is all very basic gameplay stuff. You don't really need to teach players. There's no right stick or left stick click to crouch. Wow, and major loading lag there.
AJ, stay back.
Like, pretty much have a brand new computer. There's no reason there should have been a loading. Press Y to kill. Why in the world would I not kill a zombie?
It's down. Still with me?
Still here. No bites.
Next, we get in there.
He's going to a tire swing where I don't know if I should leave him alone or if I should be. Feels like if this was a normal game, you'd have a melee swinging thing.
Whoever used to grow things here is long gone.
Like, I would melee quite a bit of things right now. It also is weird that there's like, I guess you can run if you click on the left side, left stick.
Monster trap?
It's not a trap. You swing on it. For fun? You get in the tire and someone pushes you so that you go really high.
Oh, I want to try.
And this
After
is
we clear this place.
this is echoing what we've seen in previous episodes. I feel like probably that's all this is going to be. Mostly it's just echoing elements that we've seen in previous games. Now I have a deer skull.
Interesting.
Interesting. Didn't put it in the inventory though. Possible hood ornament. The decay rate on these zombies is so high that it's really crazy that by this point either everybody would have been infected or everybody would have decayed. The only thing that makes sense seems like they were distilling water or something, or alcohol. Yeah. The only way it would make sense is if there was a decent amount of people that were just continuously getting reinfected or bitten. And I guess they explained it away in the TV series with there being... This water is probably not good. It's like rain barrel, I guess is what it is. Yeah, the runoff from the roof goes in the one barrel, then it goes overflows, so just the top of the water goes in that barrel, and then it goes over, so just the top of that is in that barrel. That way, any particulates in the water would potentially sink to the bottom. And I assume... I don't feel like the crowbar was always sticking out there. I assume we would have had to walk backwards and get the pry bar had we not picked it up.
What do we do inside a new place?
We listen for monsters.
After that? Come on, you remember. We... Inside a new place?
Find somewhere to hide,
Somewhere to hide.
I guess.
That's right.
So we're teaching him. AJ is always listening. We kind of know where this is going, right? Like, AJ's gonna be the last one to survive, and whatever decisions we make now are going to...
All tied up.
They're gonna end
Can't
up...
get us?
Like, our decisions are going to determine how long AJ survives, and it would be kind of interesting if it was some kind of gauntlet experience where you would have had to make all the right choices.
No hiding with them around. This one's locked.
Security
He's
door.
particularly blasé.
Can't pry that open. I know you're hungry. I am too. We'll find something. I promise.
I think it's fairly easy to explain to AJ, though, at his age, that it's more of a kindness to kill these monsters.
Well, for me.
See anything?
Looks like some cans. Could still be edible. One of us might be able to fit through there.
Is that the only way in?
Let's look around.
Yeah,
Let's be smart.
I don't even think
That's
that
right.
there's a good argument at all to be made to leave these zombies alive. Other than this might just go very badly for us.
Beans.
Homemade. Might be more where this came from.
And she's just magically teleporting them into her satchel.
They ate well for their last meal.
Yeah, in the Walking Dead game, TV series, they specifically said that everybody was infected and would turn into a zombie when they died anyways. So, kind of wish there was a way to zoom in and look on some of this graphics nowadays, but they don't have that. There's a key on them. And their hands are bound together. Are you seriously gonna just grab the key? I guess I don't have a choice here.
This opens the lock. That's not happening.
Well, what's funny here is the B button doesn't let me zoom out. Interesting. It's poison.
Poison.
Did they give up?
They wanted to leave this world together,
Hmm.
holding hands in their own home.
Will we have a home?
We'll see.
Hmm.
Please leave us alone.
Hmm.
This is what we wanted.
Yeah, to just leave them there. But apparently the zombies don't ever decay past a certain point either. Because this could have been like years ago.
The key or the window.
Hmm.
Those are our options.
It's dark in there.
Hmm.
We should kill the monsters. They're not people.
See, if they found the
They
cure,
used to be people, and as people, they ask to be left alone.
yeah, that would be
So
really
what's
weird
next?
if there's a cure and it somehow turns zombies back into being humans. This is an easy decision. Although I find most of the decisions easy in this game. Notice that this is one of the ones that doesn't give you a timer, so you have to make a decision. You can't just say no. It's so obvious. The living always trump the needs of the dead, because the dead need very little. We kill the couple, and we protect AJ. Otherwise, we create an exact echo of what happened in the first season, where she is brought into a room, and in that room there's another zombie that nearly kills her. I can't even remember her name though.
I'll get the key.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Like, will we have a stun ability this time? Well, it was B the stun, right? Well, this is a whole different prompt. Now I'm using the right trigger to stab him in the head.
Come on.
And this is one of these scenarios where you're gonna potentially need to stab him a couple times.
Good job.
Sorry, it had to go this way.
I don't know why you would have kept the key and locked the door if they were planning on taking poison anyways. Unless that means there's a zombie character. Zombie baby, maybe?
They had a good thing going here.
Can we stay here?
We'll see.
No one's here.
Hmm.
No one's ever anywhere.
It does feel like
It's
the
always
world.
just monsters.
I'm here, kiddo.
I know.
You saying I'm not someone?
That's not what I mean.
Now
Just a few.
bullets.
Remember what we said? You know this.
Never hesitate.
Always.
Aim for the head.
That's right.
He just repeats
Come on.
whatever
let's
you
keep looking.
say.
There's gotta be something we can eat.
Hope so.
Okay, so it does seem like we are going to... I guess we could check on AJ here. Let's go ahead and do it.
You good?
Uh-huh. Just hungry.
Grumbly in your tumbly?
No, just regular hungry.
I feel like that we once again are running into the problem of different seasons being written by different people. So there was really no consistent writing of the main character here.
Not the worst place to sleep.
I'm not even sure this is the same voice actress throughout the entire series.
We didn't see a kid.
No, we didn't. Might be why they gave up.
Maybe they never had a kid, or maybe they buried the kid, or maybe there's a zombie baby wandering around here somewhere.
Spoiled. Sorry, buddy. These are long gone.
Fuck.
Let's see. Should I say anything here? I don't care. I don't care one way or the other. You're in a zombie apocalypse.
Look.
Yeah, the last thing I'm gonna care about is a kid that I'm giving a butterfly knife to, and a gun to. Like,
Something under here.
last thing I'm gonna care about is whether he cusses or not. I don't think it would be very realistic to believe too many adults would even care at this point.
Floor door?
Yeah. I must have wanted to hide something.
So now we're doing Y QTE, quite a lot of QTE events. So zombie baby may be crawling under there too.
It is. We could eat for weeks with this much. It's rigged!
Left stick to slam it down. Why would they rig all of this?
AJ!
So the season 1 like teaser that you were gonna stay here for a while was not true.
Monsters.
We have like no guns.
We need to get back to the car.
This really feels like something that would have been more of a cutscene than anything else.
You know what to do. Stick to the sides and be my eyes while I clear a path.
Let's see, walkers are dangerous in groups. Use B to break them up. Y. These kind of action sequences were way better like the first time you did them, but they kind of ended as far as wow, did I just die? Yeah. Like that's weird.
Stick to the sides and be my eyes while I clear a path.
Let's see, can you even like move a little bit to the left or right? Alright. Man, this thing is so scripted. This is so scripted.
You know what to do. Stick to the sides and be my eyes while I clear a path.
These kind of action experiences also fall away from they fall away from what a point and click adventure game would have been anyways.
Over here.
Alright. Let's see, I'm just gonna try and type Y
Let's get to the car.
as fast as possible. I'm just waiting for a prompt. Come on, cursor keys in the eye, I guess. Right, B. And crushing the fingers and hands of one of the other characters. So how long until zombies give up? And release the emergency brake, I guess. And then I guess we'll just roll. And take this. And stab this guy in the head. These guys are not going to give up quickly. Yeah, I'd almost applaud the idea of... See, this is a repeat of the car crash that started the game. Everything's a call. But yeah. You just kind of crashed into a tree. Kind of funny she's driving stick too, but I guess you probably would have to learn in an incident like this. These kind of action sequences would matter more, I think, in other kinds of point-and-click adventures, but they became very blasé and just redundant. Apparently we've caught some hunter with a bow in her. So somebody's taking AJ and running away with him. And we get separated. Telltale presents in association with Skybound because they finished the game. Skybound Entertainment is a company that owns the Walking Dead comic book. Although I think they certainly overextended and tried to do a lot of different types of media and types of entertainment around the Walking Dead, and so many of it failed that I don't think they're going to do too much as far as new content. Also, I would say Walking Dead as a major genre or a major exciting series kind of got overstretched, and 10-20 years down the line I wouldn't be surprised if nobody even remembers The Walking Dead compared to, say, something like 28 Days Later or any of the more classical movies around zombies. She's got somewhat long hair, but not crazy long hair. And somebody obviously rescued her and bandaged her up. And of course, this is always where the trouble starts, is that you start dealing with the humans, and they're the real threat.
AJ.
Of course, they think the same, so they've tied a belt or taped her wrist. You don't have a choice to call for help. So maybe they just taped her just in case she turned and died. They seem to have left her with
What is this place?
medicine, but they don't want to risk taking care of her directly. It'd be funny if this is some kind of orphanage. It would be funny if it turned out that there is some secret experiments going on kids to try and find a cure to the zombie to the zombie infection.
Where the
Yeah,
hell am I?
best case scenario, I believe, here would be that they would find something that made everybody immune to zombie bites. Not that the zombies couldn't just tear you to shreds anyways. And then then through a generation, people would potentially... Those are some really creepy faces, the way that's animated. That was really creepy looking. I doubt they meant for it to be that way. Well, I feel like, yeah, this is either some kind of orphanage or home for wayward youth or something like that, with the bars on it. And maybe it's just all kids that are going to be running the show. Let's see. Well, I don't think there's anything to change or do anything here. We've gone 15 minutes. I think this is as good of a point as any to end this episode. So, yeah. So far, we're not seeing anything totally different, but I don't know what kind of difference you can get in a story like this. Because if she had woken up in like a super high-tech military facility with lots of adults and running equipment, and it became a sci-fi game instead of everything is destroyed and this is always going to be a desperate survival, a desperate struggle to survive, that really wouldn't feel like The Walking Dead. Even some of the seasons of The Walking Dead on the TV show, which I didn't watch a lot of it, but there definitely were seasons where it felt like, oh, they're going in a completely different direction. So I imagine we're just at the beginning of yet another horrible story for our main character, who I can't even remember the name of. Eventually somebody will say what her name is, and then it will spring back into my head. I want to call her Duck because she's wearing Duck's hat, but that's not really the case. And I don't even think it really is Duck's hat. I think she found a hat like Duck's hat later on in the story. Well, that's going to be it for this recording. As always, I ask you to like, share, subscribe, comment, and watch every second of my videos. If you want a friend or follow me on any social media sites, there's a whole bunch of links down below. And if you want to support me further, there's a link to Patreon, or you can friend me on Steam and gift me a game off my wishlist. Thank you for watching. Have a good evening.